Hello and welcome to the Empowered by Love Retreat, Self-Empowerment to Create and Embody the New Consciousness. I am Yara Atlantica Miller, the soul name of Janet. Here's a quick story of why my name has changed again. I am collecting all the soul aspects of who I am to embody in this special incarnation. That's what was given to me as reason why, because I was actually surprised that I was getting this name again, a new name. So this lifetime is totally shifting us in humanity into heart-centered living and creating a higher consciousness human, one who embodies their divine essence and integrates it into our human vessel. Homo luminous is what we are becoming. And how do we do this? This retreat will open us to the new ways of being. A famous song sung in 1965 by Dionne Warwick and written by Burt Bacharach said, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And that's the only thing there is just too little of." And truer words could not be sung right now. Our world is going through so many shifts right now. And that song came through me. As soon as I started writing this intro, I said, I guess I have to include that. It just came pouring in. So we're looking at different views coming in from all sides and areas in the world. People are being pushed to pick a side, and families and many relationships are breaking up. But we do need so much love right now. So that's why I created the Empowered by Love Retreat, to take the time to feel what's in your heart. It's time to take a breath and gift yourself this time to reconnect with our hearts. Holiday season is revving up and soon we can get swallowed up in all these preparations and lots of doing. So right now is our time to be connected to our hearts and remember the sweetness and peace it can bring us. Today we have a hugely gifted guest, Louise Matson. Welcome, Louise. So excited to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
And you know, we never know what Louise is going to bring through. And so I'm so excited to see what comes through today. Her depth and her insight is truly enlightening. Let me tell you a little more about Louise. Louise is an intuitive conscious channel, conduit for energy healing, best-selling co-author, way shower, spiritual mentor and guide. Louise channels source energy, sharing the messages through her Source Speaks blog posts, channeled healing journeys, and healing work. Her work includes one-on-one sessions with clients, assisting them on their journeys of empowerment and spiritual growth, group work, and creating and hosting the Mundane to Magical online series, assisting people all over the world to come together as a high vibrational community, supporting each other's ascension process. So Louise's sole purpose and mission is to guide and assist people along their path from disempowerment to standing in their sovereignty and radiating their light openly to the world, to empower people to understand who they truly are as sovereign creator beings and realign to their life purpose and true potential. I mean, what more can we ask, Louise? Thank you so much. So welcome again. So glad you're part of this retreat. And, you know, I just wanted to start out with, what has been your journey to empowerment? I mean, everyone has a little bit of story. So when I ask that, it's like wherever you feel it started, love you to hear you share.
Like a number of people, light workers who've been on this path for many, many years and decades, actually, I came in knowing who we are and knowing that I was here to be of service. And I came in with the distorted program overlay of what that service meant, which was, I didn't matter, everybody else matters. And many people actually have that within them, within the light worker community. And so that was really part of the disempowerment aspect, because it meant that I was giving my power away. Because I was placing people above myself in a hierarchical form. But because I was also, my soul had chosen to be born into a family, very conservative, military background. It didn't go down very well that I would be placing my hand on people and taking their pain away, or I'd be channeling messages, or I'd be speaking to the trees and dragons and things like that. And so part of my process of disempowerment was to be threatened with being locked up for being mad.
Ooh.
And I soon realized that for me to survive, literally to survive and continue to exist here, because it was like, where am I? Where's my real family? I felt I had to shut everything down, lock it in a box. And so that again was one of the first points of disempowerment, where I disempowered myself. I didn't allow myself to honor all that I am and be, regardless of what the consequences may be. I chose to fit in, exist, and therefore parcel away the large portion of actually what my truth was. And then that led to many, many, many forms of disempowerment through society, through relationships, my parents, until basically it came to a point, and regardless of what we think we're doing and why we think we may be doing it, we will always get those nudges from our higher self, from God, from the universe, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter, to nudge us back into alignment with who we are and who we came to be. Because we all do have a soul purpose, a soul mission, a soul contract, whatever you want to call it. We have that. Otherwise, why did we incarnate? We're here for a reason. And so, you know, some of the nudges I followed, some of them I didn't, and it would be this yo-yo effect, bouncing backwards and forwards to standing in my power, something happening, shutting down again, until eventually the universe gave me a massive nudge, which was me falling down the stairs and being paralyzed. And that was a huge awakening in terms of, okay, I can't continue to go against my truth. I can't continue to dishonor myself and disempower myself and allow others to disempower me. Because one of the biggest things is people can only disempower us if we allow it. You know, we allow everything that happens to us. We draw it towards us. And so that was a massive catalyst, which then just propelled me. And there were many other kind of catalysts that then furthered my commitment to being in my truth, regardless of the consequences.
Yeah, well, that's an amazing story, because we all have these nudges that come through, like you said. Well, you started as a child, and as a child, you know, you're just trying to survive. So of course you would shut down. I mean, it's pretty logical, unless you were just this amazingly rebellious child. But most kids would do what you did. No, I want to be safe and accepted, so I'm going to just go along with the crowd. And then, yeah, we all have our nudges, exactly, that wakes us up and says, if you don't get on your path, this is going to get worse. It's almost like it's not a threat, but it's a sincere push. And you got yours, which is, wow, that's a big one. That was a big one. So what has led you now you're on your path, so that propelled you on your path, and it opened the doors, obviously, to what you're doing. So how do you see disempowerment and moving into empowerment plays out in your life and your client's life right now? How do you see any of that happening?
Well, obviously, what I will say is, whatever, and people often wonder what their mission is. And I would say that everybody's purpose is to be their truth, to love themselves unconditionally, allow themselves to be all that they are. That's what we all came here to be. That's everybody's purpose. And it's this overriding thing where we allow ourselves to embody all of the light that we are and radiate that out, regardless of the consequences. You know, that is the purpose. But the mission comes from our pain points. It comes from our mess. It comes from everything that we've experienced, because that's what we become expert in. And so my life has been I mean, you know, I've got a master's, a PhD, and every kind of certificate you can imagine in disempowerment. Pretty much every flavor of disempowerment I've tasted. So for me, it was very much, I attract clients to me who resonate with my story, and that is the same for everybody.
Yeah.
So those people come to me who have experienced not necessarily exactly the same, but similar experiences of locking themselves away, locking their truth away, allowing others to disempower them, giving their power away, particularly the distorted programs of being a service soul, you know, being the fixer and the rescuer, taking on too much responsibility for everybody else's journey, all of those things. So how I assist people is through my own healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
Of coming through from those points of disempowerment and all of those different ways that I have allowed that process to unfold in my life, to then reclaiming my power, reclaiming my truth, and allowing myself to be unapologetically who I am, allowing myself to step out into the world rather than hide in the shadows and on the sidelines and say, this is me, like it or not, you know, and to radiate that love, because basically that's what we are ultimately. As the all that we are pure unconditional love and divine light at the very core of our being. And so when we're in our truth and we are allowing ourselves to be filled with that, that's what we're radiating out. And so that's the journey that I assist people with. And however that gets to look for them, because everybody's mission is going to be personal to their journey and also personal to the gifts and talents they bring through. That's what I assist them with.
Do you remember when you got that understanding that this was how it worked when and the work you were doing? Can you remember what that point was when that happened to you? Like it just dawned. It's like light dawns.
I suppose it wasn't quite like that for me in terms
Okay.
of I came in knowing exactly who we are.
Oh, okay. That's right. That makes
But
sense.
there was a point, it was becoming more and more and more apparent. So again, when I had my accident and I was paralyzed, I was aware of the path that I was on to reclaiming my power, but there was elements that I wasn't ready to reclaim and there was elements that I was.
Sure.
But it was when my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And this had been something that in my younger years I'd said to him, if you do not allow yourself to heal and release the hatred and the anger and the pain from his childhood traumas and throughout his life, it is going to manifest in something like cancer, because cancer is where we're literally eating away at ourselves. And on my path, I had tried to assist him and I tried to heal him, even to the point of actually taking skin cancer off him and putting it on myself. And that was a big lesson for me to say, yes, miracles are possible, but they're not necessarily appropriate or right. But his part of my journey was to teach me that everybody's journey is sacred and everybody's journey is individual. And, you know, as much as I honor somebody who's on the path of healing, I also honor somebody who's choosing not to be. And so I made a commitment when he died. I literally stood there and said out loud to the universe, I fully commit to fulfilling my soul purpose and mission in this lifetime and to completing and fulfilling my service work, however that shows itself to be. And that was when I walked away from my well-paid corporate position that I'd been working my whole life to attain, and all the trappings that went with it, because none of that mattered anymore in terms of I knew it wasn't my truth, and I knew I wasn't honoring who I was and what I came here to do and who I came here to be and how I came here to be, by continuing to maintain this mask and this masquerade.
Yeah, that's huge. So you did have your moment. That was it with your dad. And it's interesting just to recollect, because we've come so far in our journey, we kind of forget a little, not that you have to go back, but sometimes it's kind of nice to say, how did I get there? And so for others to hear too, because we all started somewhere. It didn't just fall in our, I mean, some people did fall in their lap and they become these amazing energy workers and healers and whatever channels, and other people have to go through the journey like you, me too. I had to go through the journey. So it wasn't an instantaneous thing for me. It was a constant doubting and coming back in, doubting and come back in, getting validation and still doubting it. It's just like, what do we need? What do we need? And when I had clients come in that were falling right behind me, it was always so interesting. That's when I finally saw, I'm like, oh, well, this is how it works. This is how it works. I mean, nobody told us that. Like our teachers didn't tell us that. And my healing school, and nobody ever, I don't know if they even connected it, but I did, maybe it wasn't important. They wanted you to connect it. Maybe that was our job to connect it, But anyway, so it's exciting to hear people's journeys. And I think it helps all of us, because your journey to empowerment is like everyone else's, and mine too. We all have to. So what is unconditional love? And what does that mean to you?
Like I said, I mean, on part of the journey, there was this process of who am I?
Yeah.
You some point you're going to hit the dark night of the soul, where you've been playing all of these roles, wearing all of these masks, being whatever other people wanted you to be or what you perceived they wanted you to be, and then all of a sudden you hit this, I have no idea who I am. I've lost who I was.
Yeah.
I may have connected to it when I was a small child, but I have no idea who I am now. And during that process, I remember sitting down with a piece of paper, and at the top of it I put, who am I? And then I just started writing. And this is a process that everybody and anybody can do. And initially you'll start with, the roles that you play, your sex, whatever, your name, you'll start off like that. And it will all be ego driven, but just keep going. And periodically, every now and again, just keep asking, who am I? Who am I? And just allow the flow to continue, And ultimately what it came down to was, it finished with, you are love, you are light. And so that to me is what unconditional love is. It is the core of our being. We are energetic beings, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. So, when we really fully connect with and understand that, we are all of these multidimensional aspects of ourselves, experiencing this incarnation experience and beyond through all of the different vibrations and frequencies that we exist in. We extend all the way up to the pure source field, which is one of the things that you do with your grounding thing at the beginning of your sessions. And extend all the way down to the planetary aspect that we're currently incarnated on, because we are an aspect of that. That is an aspect of who we are. So when you go all the way up to the highest vibrational aspect of who you are, what are you? You're unconditional love. Because that's what the all that is. And it's, it's an amalgamation of unconditional self-acceptance, unconditional compassion, unconditional gratitude. Because everything is an experience, and everything, regardless of what the ego perceives it to be, aspects of you absolutely feel unconditional gratitude and unconditional love for that experience, because it's perfect. Because it's what you came here to experience, because you came here to experience. We get to experience because we have a physical form. As pure energy, we don't feel pain because we don't feel. It's coming into the physical form that brings us so much joy, even in those moments as a physical being, that we're believing and perceiving it to be challenging and a hard experience to go through. There's an aspect of us is going, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's do that again. And your ego's going, no.
No, thank you. Yep.
But so that's what unconditional love is.
Mm,
It's that
yeah.
capacity to connect into the highest aspect of who you are. And with that, absolutely loving divine neutrality, because people say divine neutrality and you feel quite cold, feeling neutral about something you're not feeling, but it's that from a loving space, again, connecting into that absolute unconditional love, which it doesn't matter what's going on, it doesn't matter.
Mm,
It's coming from an experience through and by a state of love.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's so true. I remember coming to the understanding that we were God. That just shocked me. I'm like, wow, we don't need these mediators. We don't need these people in the middle. It's all through us.
Mm.
And I remember telling that to a couple of clients early on. They looked at me like of course, I was blasphemy to them, but they were shocked. I mean, some could handle it, obviously, and others couldn't.
Mm.
And one just ran out of the room, I think. But it was okay. It was my truth, and they weren't ready for it, I guess. And I thought they were, but you don't know. I mean, you take trial and error like anything else. You think they might be ready for the message because you're there, and they're not. Yeah, that's beautiful what you shared. I truly feel that about ourselves too. So, so what would you call conditional love? I mean, do we want to go there, or is that like even worthwhile? I mean, it
Well,
seems like
conditional
more,
love.
yeah.
Conditional love is basically what people perceive love to be in this moment, in this third density, third dimensional existence. Pretty much everything that you will encounter is based on a condition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing what we will hold on to and cling on to, and how we will allow ourselves to be disempowered because of the conditional love that we feel we're receiving.
Yeah.
I mean, I stayed in an abusive relationship for 15 years because as a child, I was never loved. And even though, from what I understand love to be now, from the unconditional love perspective, I was in no way loved during my relationship with my partner, my marriage. It was more than I'd ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
It was somebody who was saying the words to me, although there was no depth to the meaning behind the words, because that particular person, when I had my line in the sand of my boundaries, would overstep my boundary, and I would draw another line in the sand nearer to myself until it came to a point where it's like, well, I've got nowhere else to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you cross this line, I may as well not exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that is unconditional love. Conditional love. Conditional love is a love that is based on conditions. I love you if you're thin. I love you if you agree with me. I love you if you're happy all the time. I love you if you cook my dinner.
Mm.
Whatever.
It's so true. It's so true. I mean, and
I love you
it's
if
nice to
you're a good
hear that.
girl.
So sorry, what did you say?
I love you if you're a good girl, but then they never give you the definition of what good is because you're never good enough.
Mm.
It's all based on
Wow.
condition.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't even know if people understand that that's what conditional love is. So that's why I wanted to hear that, because I have finally understood what that means. I mean, it takes us time on all these things. So now to understand what unconditional love is, which is just the pure love. I mean, that's when they say God loves you no matter what, or source loves you, or spirit, or that you are love, that is unconditional. Love is
Absolutely.
unconditional, real love, source love, God love, like, and that's not necessarily this guy in the beard and the cloud. It's just that energy, that wonderful energy that's created all of us in our world and all the universes around us and all the planets. Yeah, it's so powerful to really get to the basic, because I know that this is what you do. And so, yeah.
I mean, the closest we get to unconditional love
Mhm.
is the look in a baby's eyes
Mm,
when they're connecting with you.
yeah.
An animal a dog, sometimes a cat, but they can be tricky.
Yeah.
But that absolute adoration, that it doesn't matter what you do to these animals, they will always love you, they will always be there for you, they will always hold space for you, they're there with you.
Yes.
And also when we go out into nature and you see the most amazing sunrise or the most amazing sunset, or you see just the sheer beauty of a butterfly, or just for me, the colors and textures of nature, that's unconditional love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are
Because
the gifts.
there's
Oh,
no condition to it. It's given. It's given
yeah,
freely.
true. It's true. There's no, no conditions. How perfect, I mean, these are the gifts that we're given that we take for granted. We take it for granted. And yet when we really open our eyes and we become present, like that's the big thing right now, is being present. But that is the gift of presence, is to be part of the now, to be and see it and experience it in the fullness of the now, right? Yeah. Wow. So, yeah. And so self-love is often mentioned, and being unapologetically you can be a lot of self-love, if you want to start there. And where do you start? Is it unconditional love? Is unconditional? Well, go ahead. Yeah. Where do you start?
Well, being unapologetically you was what was given to me as part of this empowered by unconditional love.
Mm.
And that really, that starts with owning where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing yourself to be radically honest with yourself without judgment, and allowing yourself to see and feel where things may resonate and where things don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And having the courage, and again, allowing yourself to say, I'm worth it. I'm worth honoring. I'm worth me honoring me. And that's what unapologetically you is. It's I allow myself to be myself in each moment, regardless of how others may perceive me, regardless of how I may perceive me, because, we still got these belief programs and systems encoded in our divine matrix as these overlay programs and distortions. And allowing ourselves to be our truth. Because, the work that I did was allowing people to stand in their sovereignty, which was standing in their power. But then I had a real issue with the word power. And so they were saying, well, it's standing in your truth. And I could handle that. So it's like, that's okay. And it's basically now what they've shown me is standing in your truth is standing in your frequency of love, of unconditional love. So it starts with you allowing yourself to express yourself fully and wholly and authentically. And that might start with you just doing it with you in a quiet room by yourself, and owning the fact that you're unhappy, or owning the fact that you're angry, or that this belief that you've lived your life by doesn't resonate with you. There's so many beliefs that I grew up with. Money doesn't grow on trees. You're here to live and then you die. There was nothing about enjoying.
Children are meant to be seen and not heard.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's allowing yourself to own that which isn't you, and therefore allowing yourself to own that which is. Because to start with, you may not have a clue who you are. And my process of finding out who I was, well, who am I not? I'm kind of going through everyone and everything and all of their qualities and all of these beliefs and all of this stuff, and saying, actually, no, that's not me. No, that doesn't feel like me either. And then you're kind of left with, well, if I'm not that, then I must be
Mm.
the other. I
Yeah,
must.
that's a good way to do it. Yeah.
And so it's allowing yourself to express your truth, allowing yourself to express your emotions, energy and motion, allowing yourself to own your thoughts, regardless of whether they fit in with what is outwardly acceptable. You know, connecting with your truth, embodying your truth, being the walking representative of your truth is you being unapologetically you. You showing yourself, receiving the unconditional love, being the unconditional love, letting it pass through every aspect of you and radiating out, i.e., showing it to the world, this is me.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, because I also had a trouble with the word power. I always, and people like, well, you have to step into your power. I mean, that was way back in the 2000s. I'm hearing this and I'm like, but what is that power? I mean, everything that was power around me, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't resonate with that. I was like, that is not what I want to be. I don't want to be power. I want to be something else. So the word truth, yes, that resonates totally. Yeah.
But it's stand in your truth, stand in your love.
And to stand in your love, to be the frequency of love that you are. That was a beautiful, beautiful statement, and a beautiful knowing. It's a beautiful knowing. Yeah, I love that. That totally resonates now with the 5D coming into this new energy. That feels so right. So you treat with the early stuff, and now we go into that, standing in who that you are as a frequency of love. So perfect, so perfect. So do you think unconditional love is selfish?
This was something that initially, when it started coming through, I was aware that it could be perceived as selfish.
Yeah.
Because if you're being unapologetically you, society basically dictates that we should acquiesce to
Be selfless. Yes.
to everybody else, you know, to the needs or the wants of the greater field.
Yeah.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. There's another statement.
Huge statement.
And so in that sense, if you're the only person in a group of 10 people being unapologetically you, it could be perceived to be by those other 10 people as being selfish. However, there is selfless, like they show me all these different spectrums all the time. There's selfless on one side, where that service soul gone mad, you know, everybody else counts and I don't.
like that. Service soul gone mad. I like that.
And then there's selfish,
if
you like, the perception of selfish on the other side.
Yeah. That's more like narcissism.
But then there's self-full.
Okay.
In the middle. And the other thing is, if you're the only person in the room who's being unapologetically you, it could be perceived by the other 9 people that you're being selfish.
Yes.
However, you can flip that and say, I'm being a walking permission slip to everybody else who hasn't had the opportunity to radiate at this frequency of who they are. Yeah. And to say to them, it's okay. In fact, more than okay, you deserve to feel this too. You deserve to be this, but your own brand, your own flavor of unapologetically you, because we're not going to be exactly the same. And if I'm loving myself unconditionally, then automatically I love everybody else unconditionally as well, because the external reality is a mirror reflection of our internal landscape. And so if we have any distortions within our internal landscape, they're going to be reflected to us in the outer realm. But if we take that reflection and say, I see you, I own you, I love you, My mother was extremely manipulative and controlling.
I know that person.
I think we all know somebody who's like that. Well, certainly
That was my mom too, to be really
in
honest.
this day and age. But the ability for me to look at that quality of manipulation and control and say, I see you, and because I see you, I know it's in here because I can't see anything out there that isn't in here.
Yeah.
Therefore, I own you. But I also appreciate that the vibration of manipulation and control that is within me is not being expressed at the same level and frequency and in the exact same way as it's being expressed through you. So I have been a powerful manipulator. I have been extremely controlling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have manipulated situations or attempted to for the greatest and highest good of others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have manipulated situations for the greatest and highest good of myself. Because when I'm trying to fit in, there is going to be an element of manipulation and control because I'm not being my truth.
Mm-hmm.
So when I can own the fact that I have the vibration of manipulation and control within me, however, it's not been played out, as it were, through me in the same way as it's been reflected, then I can love that. And I love it because it has served its purpose, whatever that purpose was in my life. It kept me alive, it enabled me to fit in, it kept me sane, whatever it was. It made me feel safe. You know, I mean, I locked my ability to channel and heal down from early childhood. How controlling is that?
True.
So I'm excellent at control.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's when we allow ourselves to own it and love it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then equally, if we're allowing ourselves to unconditionally love, unconditionally accept ourselves, unconditionally have compassion, we're automatically putting that out because the internal landscape is also therefore reflected in the external. And we put it out as this massive permission slip that everybody around us will feel. They may not consciously be aware of that. And it may unlock that within them, or as you've said with the people who left because it was too much for you to kind of say, you know, we are God, they may just go, whoa, no, too much, and leave. And that's absolutely fine because that's their individual journey. And they may at some point come to the position where they're able to say that, or they may not. And that's their perfect journey.
Yeah.
And again, we radiate unconditional love without any judgment of the path that they choose.
Yeah. Wow. Ooh, that was a lot. That was amazing. That opened up doors for me. I'm like, wow, I never looked at that way. I love how you said the reflection of someone who's very manipulative and controlling allows me to look at myself. Where is that in my level, but doesn't have to be the same frequency level as that person. Now that was a whole new understanding for me. I never thought of it that way. I love that. That was brilliant.
People get tangled up with the shadow work, and shadow work is an extremely important part of the healing journey, but so is light work. But they get tangled up with shadow work because they believe that if they see the mirrored reflection of manipulation and control in a particular way, that they have to own how it's being displayed.
Yeah.
But that's not what shadow work is about. It's owning the vibration of manipulation. It's owning the vibration of control.
Yeah.
We are the all that is. So we have the potential for everything. Every single spectrum that possibly exists, we hold within our field. But we're not all going to be at the same point on the slider rule.
Yep.
We're not all going to be expressing it in the same way. Within the energy of manipulation, within the energy of control, there are different spectrums, all of their own. And some may manipulate and control for, the good of themselves from a lower vibrational perspective, and some may use manipulation and control for the higher and greater good, or from a higher vibrational perspective.
Yes. Yeah. That makes so much sense.
I mean, it's like dishonesty used to really trigger me, because to me, being in my integrity, being my authentic self, are some of my core qualities that I strive to be. It's always something that has been really important and essential to me. But I also have to own that, the path of disempowerment, standing in your sovereignty, I've been dishonest.
Yep. Yep.
Because I haven't stood in my truth. That's the whole thing about disempowering yourself and not being unapologetically you, being something to fit in with another's opinion or agenda or perception of how you should be. You're being dishonest with yourself if you don't stand there and go, no, I'm not that, I'm this. And so when I was really triggered by, my partner hated conflict, and so he wanted me to lie to back up a lie that he'd.
Oh no.
And I couldn't do it, and I wouldn't do it.
No.
And it triggered me. But then I thought, well, if this is triggering me so much still, where am I being dishonest? And that was at a time where I was literally one version of myself with him, where I didn't go into the deep and meaningful. I didn't, openly channel and stuff. We kind of kept things superficial on that level. And when I was up in my attic workspace, that was when I was the whole me. Well, in that, I wasn't being my truth in every single moment. And therefore, that's where the dishonesty lay. And that's why the relationship ultimately ended, because I made that commitment. I made that commitment to be who I came here to be, and that is unapologetically me. And therefore, how can I maintain a relationship where that's not the case?
That makes, wow. Yes, that makes so much sense. Yeah, that's and that's really understanding what dishonesty is when you are being that to yourself. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I have been, still can be. So you have to be just constantly aware. I mean, you think you're being honest, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that isn't totally true. So you can catch yourself quicker now, even though none of us are, we're not perfect, but you try, like you say, you strive to have that integrity. I remember the first time someone said to me, you're not in your integrity. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I didn't even know what she meant. She didn't explain, what is that? What did I do that you're saying this to me? And I'm like, oh, it felt like such an assault. And I never got the answer. So I was in limbo.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, my comeback with that would be, of course I'm not, I'm human.
I like that. Well, see, at that time I was still too much in a wound. I was still too wounded to be able to stand for myself that way. Now, now I could. Like, I remember, like when you were talking earlier to, like, I love that saying, well, you don't have to dim your light for anyone, right? That's always like what you're saying, being unapologetically you. And I was on a trip with a bunch of friends, and I'm just not like them. I'm very different. And we hadn't traveled together in, oh my God, forever. And two couples I didn't even really ever travel with. But my friend that I was closest to said to me, you're such a big presence. It's like, wow. And I'm thinking, what did I do? I didn't do anything, And I'm thinking later, I said to myself, I should have just said, I'm not dimming my light for anyone. but I didn't think of that. I was sort of like in this, like, well, what is that? It felt like it wasn't a positive feedback I was getting, you know? So it was interesting. We have to learn how to be apologetically us, and we don't have to apologize, as although we are, like, I love what you said, that we're giving others permission to do the same. Yeah.
And that's why, no, I don't believe that unconditional love is selfish.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. I love that. I love that. Such a great, such a great knowing. Another one. You're always coming out with these profound, it's almost like this wisdom. Where did she get that from? But I know you've been doing this work for so long, and it's who you are. It's just part of who you are. Constantly journeying and seeking and diving in, like just going for the kernel, like, well, what does that mean? And like you said, constantly asking, who am I? Who am I? Who am I?
Well, the other thing is as well,
Who am I not? Yeah.
it's I am a clear and perfect channel. Everyone is a clear and perfect channel. And when you get out of your own way, and I don't prepare for anything.
Right. Right.
I don't read books. I don't, particularly look at other people's work necessarily, because I'm completely in trust that I open up the channel
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to come through. I have
Mm.
no idea what I'm going to say from one minute to the next. I just allow it to come through and I don't judge it. And so it's not me. Well, it is me, but it's the highest aspect of me. It's the aspect that is appropriate to come through at this time with the perfect message. And it's just, allowing yourself to, again, be that aspect of your unapologetic self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I truly know that I exist, as we all do, throughout all of the different, whether you want to call them dimensions or frequencies or vibrations of who I am,
Mm-hmm.
as an individuated divine spark of the all that is. So ultimately, we're pure consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
We are unconditional love and light. And we are connected to that infinite, eternal pool of collective knowing.
Yeah.
So, if somebody asks a question, I'm just open to receiving the perfect bit of that pool of knowing to come down and filter through me. Because of my individuated aspect, it will flow through me in a particular language format, with particular analogies, but one makes sense to me because of my individuated matrix and all of the experience and everything that goes towards making me in this incarnation.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why 5 people can channel the exact same message, but it was slightly different. Some may channel it through a piece of artwork, some may channel it through written work or through song or through verbalizing it, but again, it will be slightly different.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of unconditional love and allowing yourself to be unapologetically you, because we each bring our own perfect blend, perfect flavor
Mm-hmm.
of unconditional love to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like you say, you're allowing and you're trusting, and that's the biggest place we have to get to. We've got to get there. That's what we're meant to do. That's where we get to go.
Yeah.
So you are a perfect example of that. So one last question, then I know you have something to do because time is flying, but it's wonderful. And I hope you're okay with that, and everyone listening, because we have a special, something that Louise is going to do. But one more question is letting go of the need to forgive and stepping into unconditional love. How are you seeing that now? Because that's a big word, forgiveness.
It is. And a lot of people feel that forgiveness is part of the journey of the healing. And to a certain extent, yes, it is. And I do like the Ho'oponopono prayer.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, that what I've been gifted with over the last year and a half, 2 years, has been that actually forgiveness has a flavor. It was a bit like the word power. I felt uncomfortable with the word power, and therefore they gave me the word truth, and I felt more comfortable with that. Well, I felt uncomfortable with forgiveness, and so when I kind of opened up and delved deeper into that, it was forgiveness has this aftertaste that there's somebody or something to blame.
Okay.
And that may be because of the way that it's been taught through the various different doctrines of religion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Forgiveness,
Definitely be it.
sinners, and all of that kind of, that connotation. So whether it's again just the distorted programming of forgiveness that is within everybody's, or a lot of people's divine matrix. But I had this issue with the word forgiveness because it brought up this concept that there was somebody or something to blame. Well, with unconditional love recognizes that everything is perfect, and everything's perfect in perfect timing. And just because you may not, from a human perspective, be able to see the greater and wider picture, that, never mind 10,000 foot view, 100,000 foot view of the all that is, to know that, this behavior or this incident or this situation was perfect on the grander, wider scheme of things, that there isn't actually anything ever to forgive because all is perfect. And when you bring that layer of unconditional love in, then it just is, and it kind of completely dissolves the requirement to forgive. Now that's not to say. I'll give an example. So during my life, I've had experiences where I've allowed people to disempower me, and I have felt very wounded by those experiences. And so part of the journey was to do an activity of forgiveness. But I realized that when I was working through that process of, forgiving my ex-husband or forgiving my mother, everything in my life up until this point has been perfect to bring me now to where I am. So there's nothing to forgive. Because had it not happened, I might not be here. As we live in this dualistic world, this world of polarity, where there are these spectrums of good, bad, right, wrong, there are these judgments. And that's where I have the problem with forgiveness, because it feels like a judgment, a criticism. Many of us require contrast. We don't automatically know what we want, but we find what we want by going through many things that we don't want. And so rather than feeling the need to forgive those experiences of what I don't want, I feel completely thankful and have full of gratitude and love for having experienced them, because they led me to know myself and to know my truth and to know who I am, what I'm here for, and what I do want, and what I want to radiate out into the world. And so rather than forgiving those people, I thank them.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if that makes sense to people, but it so deeply comes from, I feel it so deeply in my heart space. I feel absolutely blessed for my life journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's interesting, because it brings me back to a couple of things. One of my friends grew up with a mother who was totally abusive, horrible alcoholic, just miserable. The girl was out picking, cutting tobacco when she was like 8 years old, and that like shreds your hands. It's brutal work. And but when her mother passed, She said, I am not sorry for anything I've ever been through in this life. I'm grateful, because her life was never happy, really. But that's what her last words were. And my friend told me that, and she was like so shocked that that came out of her mother's mouth, because it was like the last thing she expected to hear from this woman who was never happy or anything in her life. But she said that. So what you're saying right now just blows my mind that, yeah, she got that at the last minute. She got it. It's like her soul said, boom, this is what your journey was meant to be. And this is what it is. And do you get it? And she was like, yeah, I get it. How awesome. How amazing.
I mean, the other aspect is that, you know, ultimately there are no victims
Yeah.
and there are no perpetrators, because at a soul level, we all chose.
Yes. Yes. And that's a hard one for people to grasp, that one. That's very, very hard, especially with what the world is going through right now. So many stories of, lots of, really underground things going on in our world, child trafficking and all that. Just because people look at that as just, it's evil, of course, in many, many ways, but yet they're also playing a role that they took on in this world. So that was a hard one for me to even go like, oh my gosh, that is possible, isn't it? Isn't that that is probably true, but it's so hard to grasp it.
Well, it is from the human perspective that's connected to the identity and the ego.
Yes, there you go. The ego, yeah.
But yeah, um,
And
again, from a human perspective, we can't always see the reason,
the
the
perfection.
the greater and higher good that comes from,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, like in this world of dualism and polarity, many people do require contrast.
Yes, like you said.
Know that which doesn't resonate, which feels abhorrent,
Yes,
which is like, I can't even compute how somebody could go there, you know,
exactly. Me too.
contemplate that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it enables the cementing in of, okay, well, if that isn't my truth, then the opposite, or somewhere along the spectrum opposite to that, is.
Yeah.
Because I know that so isn't me.
Yes.
So I must therefore land on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's, you know, I mean, we talk about the time that we're going through as, you know, the Great Awakening, or golden opportunity to raise in consciousness. Well, if we've all been asleep, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
who we truly are as the all that is through our multidimensional existence, and we've only seen that we are this role that we've been trained to believe we are, because remember, as a small baby, we didn't walk around going, does my bum look big in this nappy? You
Yeah.
know, when we started to learn to walk, we fell over. We didn't go, oh, I'm a complete failure. Forget
Right.
it. I'm gonna sit on my ass for the rest of my life. That was all taught. We
Yes.
learned that. We've been trained to see ourselves a certain way. And so in that state of unconsciousness, asleepness, whatever you want to call it, we need a big catalyst
Mm.
of contrast
Yes.
to go, hey, wait a minute, that's not okay. Well, if that's not okay, then what is okay? And that's where we find our truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not always in this blinding flash of, I know who I am. It's like, well, I know who I'm not.
Yeah. It's so much the opposite, like you're saying. I know who I'm not. Yes. Those are powerful. That's another powerful knowing. Wow. So I know that you wanted to bring something through today. What were you going to share with us or have us experience with you today?
I had no idea, but I'm
I
going to
know. So you're
and
going to open the doors and we're going to partake with this with you. So I'm just going to let everyone, if you need a drink of water, take a drink. I'm going to take a quick drink. And then we're going to go, and we're going to go a little over the hour, but it's okay because this is important. And if it wasn't, it wouldn't be happening.
and just allowing yourselves to be comfortable in the space that you're in. And if possible, with your feet firmly placed on the ground, allowing your awareness of yourself to connect in and flow down from your head into your heart space. Allowing your eyes to close if they haven't already done so, for as we close our eyes, we see more clearly and we feel more clearly, without the distractions of the thoughts and beliefs and the programs that overlay our own divine matrix, our own sense of self, our own knowing. Allowing yourself to drop into your heart field and feeling your heart field. Allowing your awareness to expand and grow. And just feeling that space deep within the very core of your being. Nestled within your physical chest, but also within the very center of your wider energetic light body. Your body of light, your sacred vessel. Just allowing yourself to have a wider, greater awareness of yourself more than your physical form in the space that you're in. Allowing yourself to connect in with the divine flow of your breath to you, through you, from you. But connecting into the wider knowing that this is the eternal connection, a representation of your eternal connection to your source self, the pure source field of divine love and divine light that you are. And just allowing your awareness to expand into the knowing that your energetic body, your energetic field that extends far beyond your physical form. And some of you may see, sense, feel, or know your energetic body of light. And that there is a column of light that runs through the very center, all the way through. And this contains your energy centers, known as your chakras. They extend throughout your physical form and beyond, extending all the way up above your head and extending down below your feet, connecting you into all of the multidimensional aspects of your being. So allowing your awareness, first of all, just to flow down, flowing down your column of light, down below your feet, and down into the planetary aspect that you are. And just setting your attention to draw back your essence, your light, your power, your truth from any and all lower vibrational energy and the lower vibrational aspects of consciousness and timelines connected and associated with your planetary self, and feeling that divine essence flowing back to you, your own divine truth, your own divine love that you have given away freely and possibly unknowingly, but you are now reclaiming. And allow that divine essence to flow back up through your column of light into your heart space, with the awareness of your heart space expanding, illuminating, enlightening evermore. And again, your awareness flows down into the many layers of your planetary self, into the golden crystalline, higher vibrational planetary consciousness of the animal, plant, mineral kingdoms, as well as humanity. And down into the diamond heart, the diamond crystalline heart structure of Mother Earth, Gaia, Tara. And drawing back whatever divine essence, whatever messages, whatever gifts, whatever love, whatever nourishment and nurturing this higher vibrational aspect of your planetary self has for you, that you may have stored there in a state of protection, and that it is now time for you to reclaim, allowing that essence to flow back with ease and grace up through your clear and perfect channel, all the way up into your heart field. And again, your heart field expands, filling with more divine love light that you are. Allowing your awareness to flow all the way back up your column of light through your sacred light body vessel. Having the awareness that as you have reclaimed these aspects of your own divine essence, your own divine love light, that energy is permeating through your body of light, clearing, cleansing, aligning, balancing, reharmonizing. Allowing yourself to reconnect with that wider aspect of your being. And again, allowing your awareness to flow up, beyond your physical form, beyond the outermost reaches of your body light vessel, all the way up through the multi-dimensional aspects of yourself as the unicorns, the energy of the dragons, the energy of the angels, the archangels, all the way up into the highest echelon of your dimensional existence as the pure source field of light. Allowing yourself to connect in fully and wholly, recognizing yourself as an individuated divine aspect of this pure source field. And connecting into this pure, unconditional love, this pure divine frequency of light that you are and that you have always been. And again, allowing yourself to draw down and receive whatever downloads, whatever messages, whatever key codes that you are ready to embed and embody within your field of light. Whatever energy you are ready to reabsorb into your physical incarnated existence. Drawing down this unconditional love, this divine frequency, and allowing that to flow down through your column of light and fill your heart center. And again, allowing this energy to expand within your heart field as you bask in the divine energy of unconditional love. The unconditional love that you as the pure source field have for yourself. And just let that love wash through you, clearing and cleansing any distortions within your divine body matrix, within your field of light. Allowing that energy to pulse through like waves, filling any gaps and holes that you may have within your field of light. Gaps and holes that have been left where you have given your power away. Feeling yourself filling. Feeling yourself getting warmer. Feeling yourself being held. As you allow yourself to fully connect in with this divine frequency of love and light that you are. Some of you may see colours pulsating through your field of light, your body vehicle. Some of you may hear tones and sounds as this divine, unconditional love activates your DNA, activates your own divine harmonic, and reconnects you with your own divine symphony and the energetic vibration that you are as an individuated spark of the all that is, and the energy of your truth that you came here to radiate to you, through you, from you. Becoming the walking permission slip for all that you encounter, be they plant, animal, mineral, or human. That walking permission slip that allows everything in your path to connect into the unconditional love that they are, and to allow them to be their radiant, unapologetic selves. So that we may all connect once again in unity, oneness, as an individuated aspect of the all that is, radiating our truth, our love, our light, within and without. Just allowing yourself to breathe this energy, this frequency, this divine vibration. And on every in-breath, knowing that you are connected eternally to this vibration, to this aspect of yourself. Just allowing yourself in this moment to maintain an aspect of awareness of this energy permeating through your radiant being of light, your body vehicle, your energetic vessel, receiving whatever symbols, messages, guidance, energy, healing, love that you require in this moment. Allowing whatever aspects of your being that are ready to be activated to be brought online. Unlocking further aspects of your gifts, your talents, your strengths, your inner knowing. So that you can stand in your sovereignty, unapologetically yourself, and radiate that love light out into the world. And as you maintain this awareness on one level of your consciousness, just allowing yourself to come back to the awareness of yourself your energy within the center of your body, your heart. The gentle rise and fall of your chest and stomach as you breathe in and breathe out, your pulse, your heartbeat. Recognizing and acknowledging these are all the physical representations of this unconditional love light flowing to you, through you, from you. And allowing yourself to receive fully and wholly in each moment that which is yours. And then allowing your awareness to come back to your physical body in the space that it's in. Allowing movement to come back into your muscles, stretching out any tense muscles, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. And when you're ready, opening your eyes.
Whew.
Welcome back.
That was deep. Wow. I feel that peacefulness. I could feel that unconditional peace and joy and love just come over me. Like, it was amazing. Beautiful. Thank you. A gift, another gift. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone is back and in your body, and just wiggle your toes, make sure you're breathing, take a drink if you need to, because we do need to be in our bodies to survive in this planet. So, wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much. So, I know that you have a gift. Well, is there any one last comment you'd like to make to the group? Like, I know this was just incredible. Is there any special thing for 2022 that you have to, that you feel is something else that people need to know? Is there, I mean, you know, it's always nice to.
So I've been given that we are all experiencing different paths of initiation.
Yeah.
And I'm downloading every day more and more information about these paths of initiation that we're on. And so 2022 or 2021 into 2022, because 2021 I was given was the year of revelation. And many people may have thought that that would mean kind of, you know, outwardly, externally, things being revealed. But it's been more of an internal journey, an internal process, where internally we've had many, many experiences of revelation. And it may be the revelation of where we may have experienced contrast within, you know, the relationships, our workplace, the things that we just took for granted as they were, and suddenly the realization that actually this no longer resonates, or this doesn't resonate, whereas we'd never really contemplated it before. And so this process, as we journey through the latter end of 21 into 22, and bearing in mind we're going to go through some powerful eclipse periods, and the eclipse energy tends to last about 6 months.
That's right.
We are walking paths of initiation. And so again, you know, we are sovereign beings having this incarnation experience. And so we get to decide, we get to choose. And so some people will choose not to walk the paths of initiation and unconditional love to all and their choices and the choices that are made. And also the letting go of the need to understand the whys and the wherefores of those choices, or the greater and wider reason for things being as they are. And just allowing ourselves to focus on our own paths of initiation, how they're showing up for us, and how we are honoring ourselves on the journey, because unconditional love,
Mm.
unapologetically you,
Mhm.
is self-honoring. These paths of initiation are bringing us back into self-respect, self-acceptance, self-love, honoring, self-responsibility. We are coming back into self-governance
Yeah.
and owning all that we are.
Mm. So true. Wow. Thank you. Profound message, much needed to be heard. Thank you. Thank you for that. So I know you have a special gift for the audience. Would you like to tell them about it?
Okay, so there's actually two.
Oh, okay. Two gifts. Sorry. All right.
Two bonus gifts. They're both channeled, light encoded activation, healing journeys, whatever you want to call them. The first one is opening to divine love, compassion, and gratitude, which is what we've been talking about. So I thought that that was a perfect one for this audience and for this retreat. And that's a light encoded channeled activation that was basically created to assist people to open up to their multidimensional selves. Yourself as the all that is, that we've just had a flavor of, an experience of today. And then once connected to that pure source field of divine love and light, to bring in those frequencies of divine love, compassion, and gratitude into your heart field, and then allowing that energy to radiate out into the global consciousness of the planet. For, as you know, our responsibility is for ourselves. It's for our journey. It's for the work we do on ourselves. But all the work that we do on ourselves automatically has an impact in the wider field of light. So that was the first one. And the second one is an activation called Becoming a Clear Channel to the Divine You. And so this is all about clearing out the white noise, creating the distortions within your field, and really allowing yourself to dial into your own individual divine FM. So it's, again, a light encoded journey to assist you to unhook from the energetic attachments to the ego FM and the third dimensional communication constructs and dial into divine FM as a clear channel.
Thank you so much. Wow. Those are powerful. So powerful. That's beautiful. And this is going to give you all and all of us time to just be in stillness and to slow ourselves down as we wind this down. And these eclipses are huge. We're going into, and that's what you're going to be feeling it for 6 months, as you said. So it's a huge journey that we're on, and we're ready because we're in it. We're in it. So thank you so much for that. And I'm so grateful to all of you, the listeners today, who I hope that you have, and thank you for all taking this precious time to fill your cups and to enjoy this time to connect with your hearts, as we did through this meditation with Louise and all the different wisdom that she brought through today, and to allow all these experiences to nourish and refresh you, and you can go out into the world empowered by love. And we love hearing from you through email, which will be below. And then we'd love you to connect with me or Louise, and we'll make sure that it gets to Louise if you connect with me. And thank you so much for all of you being here today. And please send us any comments or any experiences that you may have had while you're here. We love hearing from you. It always makes us feel like what we're doing is also, helping you as well. And, we all get so much from it, just being part of it. And thank you, Louise, for your amazing expansion you have led us through today. And you are what I'm calling the sovereign seeker of soul embodiment and evolution. Because I'm like, I have to find something that I can, because Louise is so, you're a seeker, but the seeker, you embody it all so well and bring it through to move us through that evolution that we're on. So thank you so much for that. And we are so grateful for all the sharing you did today on this path, this incredible path of enlightenment we're on, and so much learning today. It's just amazing. And thank you again. Thank you so much. So,
My
yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you. And so just final words for me is, as we harness this unconditional love of self and each other and understand like that we are all mirrors, but I love now I can addend that a mirror, because the mirror may not be the same frequency that you're seeing that you also are. So to understand that the frequency that you're seeing may not be exactly what's in you, but it's an awareness that it's there. So that is a powerful new knowing that I have gotten from Louise's speaking as well, and her sharing, and that we have empowered ourselves through love to get to move into the next higher level of consciousness, for all of us to claim our rightful place alongside our galactic brothers and sisters and become citizens of the universe that we are meant to be. And thank you for sharing your love today, Louise, because I could feel that unconditional love, and I know you all could. And I am Yara Atlantica Miller, and I will see you all in the next experience of Empowered by Love.